Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video. I haven't done one of these in a really long time, but as you guys can see, we are going to be going on blind dates with books this week. I ordered some really fun ones that I'm going to be showing you in a few seconds, and I love doing these videos because it's such a gamble of what book you're going to get. And I think one of the times I did this, I found a 5-star read. I found a book that I just didn't like. Like, you just don't know what you're going to get if you're going to find a book that you love or don't love. Like, it's really fun, and also I feel like I'm always choosing books that I want to read and going through my TBR and just like visually seeing and choosing and judging books of what I want to read and books I want to put in my TBR. This gives us a chance to read some books that I haven't picked out, haven't seen, don't know what they are. They're all covered up, and I got them from a really sweet Etsy shop, so I'll link it down below if you're interested. And what's fun about this one is the books that I got are themed. For Valentine's Day specifically, I was gonna do just like romance ones and find some blind dates with books that are romance genre themed, but the ones that I got are in this box. They just came here. I've been waiting so patiently for these to deliver because I've been so excited to film this video and read these books and find out what books I got. Like, it's just such an excitement. So I saw Taylor Swift themed ones, and it was like all of her albums, and I decided to go with the Lover one. So I was like, okay, we'll do Lover. But as I saw there were other albums, I had to get more. But I specifically wanted to stick with the theme of love and get one that was Lover album themed. So this was the first one that kind of sparked this idea, and then of course I had to get more. We had to read more in this video, so did the Lover one, which is this one. It's so cute because on the Etsy site, she lets you put in your Goodreads so she can see kind of what books you've read and I guess what's on your want to read list. So I hope to avoid getting books that I've already read. That was really nice. But the first one we got is Lover. We got my favorite album I decided to do, which is Reputation. So we have this one, and I'm really excited to see what books are going with these albums. Like, I'm just like so ecstatic. Oh wait. That wasn't Reputation. I did get a Reputation one. That was Folklore. I got Folklore because this is my other favorite album, and also I love the lyricalness of it, so I'm hoping this is a book that kind of has that lyricalness in the writing. I don't really know, but this was Folklore. I completely just showed you this and said that it was Reputation, but it's not. It's completely Folklore. Since I gave that away, I did get a Reputation one. So I couldn't leave the site and just get those books and just do the Taylor Swift ones when she had Harry Styles one. So obviously, just for the sake of this video, I don't know if we're gonna get to the 4th book, but if we do, I do have a Harry Styles one. We will open this together, but this is gonna be the last one that we do because I want to do the Taylor Swift ones because I feel like Valentine's Day Taylor Swift, like, I don't know, I just really wanted to stick to that theme, but I couldn't not get this one. So I chose a Harry Styles one, and this one actually has kind of like the themes and the genre and stuff of the book. So it says fantasy, competition, and it relates to Matilda by Harry Styles, which is kind of a scary thought because Matilda is definitely a sadder one, and it's just so cute how she customized them. Like, this is the Harry Styles one with like the stickers and stuff on it. It is so cute, so sweet. I am so excited to get into these. I have been waiting like since I hit purchase on these for them to come in and for me to see what books are in these. So since Lover sparked the idea of this blind dates with the books in this video, we're gonna have to start with Lover. Also, in honor of Valentine's Day this month and everything like that, we have to start with this one. It just feels right. I don't want to ruin the packaging and the beautifulness of the stickers and what she wrote on the front of it, but we gotta get into this. We gotta know what's in here. So my guess for this one is it's gonna be a rom-com type of book. I'm really nervous. You guys can look at it first. What is it? Oh my god, wait, no way! Wait, I'm so excited. So in my video in January, I read The Bromance Book Club by Lyssa Kay Adams, and I said that I really wanted to continue the series, and this is called Undercover Bromance, and it's the second one, I think, in the Bromance Book Club, so this is honestly so perfect. We're continuing a series. I really enjoyed the writing style of it. It was really fast-paced. It was one that I read in like a day and a half. I couldn't really put it down. It was also interesting because the writing style, like the plot of it, is different to other romances, I feel like, so that's really fun. I think this is about the sister of the first one. If you don't know Bromance Book Club, the first one, he joins this romance book club almost with all of his buddies who have this book club, and they read romance books to try to help their relationships and put into their relationships what women want out of romance, if that makes sense. So it was a very interesting concept, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't love it. It wasn't like my favorite romance, but I liked it enough to want to continue. And we're gonna be continuing. I'm so excited. We'll start this. I'll give some updates. We'll see how it goes. I wonder if I'm gonna like this one better than the first one or not, because I didn't really like the sister in the first one, but I heard like her having her own book, you can kind of enjoy her a little bit more if you get her point of view and everything. So we shall see. I'm so excited about this one. This was a good first book to open from our package. So I decided to wear pink. I should have said this in the beginning in honor of Valentine's Day and of the Lover album. I knew I wanted to open Lover first, so I decided to correlate my outfit with that, but I'm gonna go start this and I'll give some updates and we'll see how it goes. I'm so excited. My favorite part about the first book was the whole bromance book club, like the actual concept of it, because you have all these men. I think majority of them, like the first main character or the first book, the main character, he was a professional baseball player, and it's just like these manly men reading these Regency romance books to help better relationships, like something about that. I just loved that concept so much. So I'm really excited to get back into this bromance book club, but I didn't even read the back of it. I don't really want to know the summary of this. I just know the two characters from the first one, we met them, so I just know that. Like, I know like the simple vagueness of their characters and how they were portrayed in the first one. I don't really want to know the summary of this one until I read. I'm kind of going in a little bit blind. I'm really excited about this one. Even though I didn't love the sister from the first book, I'm excited to see her story in this one. I'm only on page 2. So Mac, the main character in this one, isn't a professional player. I think it says he owns a bar, several Nashville bars and nightclubs, but they're in the bookstore. They're going to the romance section. It says he picked his favorite author's new book off the shelf and said it's a romantic suspense about a Secret Service agent and the president's daughter. He loved a little danger with his romance, and he especially loved an enemies to lovers story. There was just something satisfying about two people discovering that what makes them fight is also the thing that makes them perfect for each other. I just love that. Like, he loves enemies to lovers. Me too. Me too, Mac. One thing I like that she's doing is how in the first book you follow along the main character and them kind of using the book club to fix his marriage and like read the books and fix the marriage, but Mac, our main character in this one, has already been in the book club. Like, he knows everything. So like the first book, the new guy was new, introduced to show like what they do, but he's already been in the book club, he knows what they do. So in this one they're not really focusing on the book club, even though those characters and like the club are main part of it, but she's using the books in a different way. So remember one of the first things I said in the very beginning, his favorite type of romance was romantic suspense, and the new book he pulled off the shelf was about a Secret Service agent and the president's daughter. He likes a little danger with the romance, he likes enemies to lovers. That's basically what now the book is giving. They're kind of following like almost not a case, but they're following something that they have to do, which honestly is following something I didn't think was going to be in this book, and it's definitely a serious topic that they're following and they're trying to help and fix and all of that, but it's kind of like following the tropes and the type of romance books that he likes and he likes to read. This enemies to lovers thing going on, they're like trying to do this like suspense case almost thing, trying to not solve something, but like again trying to fix a situation that's pretty bad. That is bad, not pretty bad, it is bad. And I think it's such an interesting way for her to take the book club and the romance stuff and kind of do it a little bit different in this one, not just follow another guy in a book club using the romance books again, because I feel like that could have gotten repetitive. So I like what she's doing with this one, and he was the only guy left in the book club that's single, so it's interesting. I still don't love our main character Liv. I like her more than I did as like a side character in the first book, but she's not my favorite. I do love Mac. I really like him. I like how as soon as this problem was brought up, he was like immediately ready to help fix it. I don't know, I really am enjoying his character, and also like anything that's brought up, I feel like he's so well versed since he's been in the book club with the romances and women and stuff like that, that he's just like, he understands it, I guess. I don't know. I also found it on Spotify, so I've been listening to some of it while I've been doing other things, and I'm on page 140 right now. I kind of want to get a good chunk done tonight. It's really fast paced. It's just like the first one. It just kind of just flows, like no brain power. You're just kind of reading what's going on, but I think I like the plot of this one a little bit better. This one though doesn't really feel too romantic. I feel like it's more about the plot and what they're trying to do and stuff. Like I don't really feel a romance. I don't know if it's just taking a while to get there, but yeah, I don't really feel too much romance going on yet, but I'm enjoying the plot anyway. I'm interested to see how they start fixing what's going on, but I think I'm gonna listen to a little bit tonight, and then maybe we could try to finish this tomorrow. I'm really excited. I would just keep staring at the books that are covered. I really want to open the next one. I want to know what book is in there. Wait, wow, is that really hot? I'm literally sitting here playing an iPhone game, listening to the audiobook. They're at a bar and they're fighting with one of the people that are at the bar because they're trying to leave and they won't let them leave. And one of the guys calls her a name and it says in like 2 seconds flat, Mac takes him and has him pinned against the bar and says, apologize to her now. Okay. I didn't expect that to start happening. Kind of love him for that. Oh, it is so good. Not enemies to lovers, but like, you know, when they like fight and they're like fighting so hard but then they kiss, like they have so much like pent up anger. I usually never talk about scenes in books, but this is just like, I didn't expect this because I literally 10 minutes ago said I don't feel the romance and now I'm not sure what's happening. Hello, good morning. I finally finished Undercover Bromance. I was so upset because this morning I had like an hour of listening time left and I went to go listen to it and I used up all my hours. I didn't have that much left after last night. I think I'm gonna give this 3 stars. I feel like that's a good rating. I didn't really love the romance in this. I did love Mac a lot. I really liked his character and like everything to him and like the usage of the book club and the romances that he likes and like his backstory, and I don't know, I really enjoyed like him and his depth of that. I didn't really love Liv. I guess that just stems off the first one. I didn't really love her, but I liked her character more in this one, just getting like her point of view and like more into like her and what she's about and everything. But she's just not my favorite character. I mean, she wasn't just, yeah. I also feel like this one focused more on like the plot of what was going on, which like I said, they're kind of not solving something but trying to work through something and fix something almost. I don't really know. Like the whole undercover thing and his favorite suspense romance is like, that's kind of what the plot was. And I feel like the topic that they focus on was definitely a serious one and not one that I expected to be in here, but I enjoyed that storyline a lot. I definitely think if you're gonna read this to check trigger warnings because that plot and that storyline is definitely the forefront of a lot of what's going on in here. But other than that, I did enjoy it. I really like her writing style. It's so fast paced. Like I literally finished it so quick. You can just like read it and just binge it, and I feel like it's definitely one of those that are just, yeah, fast paced. Not my favorite romantic couple in the romance sense of this plot. I didn't really enjoy that like too much, but I did love Mac. So I don't know. And the side characters make this book. The side characters are so good. They add like this comedic relief. There's one side character that's part of the book club that is just so funny, like randomly. Yeah, 3 stars. It was good. Not my favorite, but I do want to continue the series because I enjoy her writing and all of these like side characters and stuff. And I'm really curious to see who the next book is about. But now it's time to open our next blind date. So I don't know which one I want to do. Again, I want to save the Harry Styles one because we have all of these Taylor Swift ones that I kind of wanted to focus on, but we have Reputation and Folklore. Folklore is one of my like right now favorite albums to listen to. One of my favorite albums too. Like these are my top 2 favorite Taylor Swift albums, but when comparing it to a book, like what kind do I want to read right now? I kind of want to do Reputation. I feel like this doesn't have to be a romance in here. I feel like this could be a fantasy. It could be a mystery thriller. I think that makes sense with the vibe. I'm just curious about this one the most, I think. I think we're gonna go with Reputation. One last look at this beautiful packaging and the beautiful little stuff that she did, but let's open it. Let's find out our next read. I'm so nervous. Ooh. So this is All's Well by Mona Awad, I believe that's how you say it, and this is the same author as Bunny, which is very interesting because that book was just like a fever dream to me. I love that it says all's well. All's well that ends well. You know, if you know, you know. It says she had an accident that ended her acting career and it left her with excruciating chronic pain, a failed marriage, and a dependence on painkillers. And now she's on the verge of losing her job as a theater director, but she's determined to put on Shakespeare's All's Well That Ends Well, the play that promised and cost her everything. But then she meets 3 strangers who have an eerie knowledge of Miranda's past and a promise for her future. This is interesting. Okay, I think, is this like a women's fiction? Is that what this genre is? I'm not too sure. I also never really heard of this, and I never really, I guess, reached for this author's book. So I feel like, again, blind dates with books are so fun because you don't know what you're gonna get, and it's not something I would pick up, which is just also really fun. So I'm gonna start this today. I'll give some updates of how it's going. I'm excited to see if I like it. Yeah, if I like it. Who knows? We'll see. But I will give updates once I start it. That's interesting. The whole first, I guess, 7 pages is kind of the description of, you know, those commercials that are like promoting like pain relievers and stuff, and it's like a commercial of like a woman and her family and she's in pain, but then suddenly she's not in pain, she's happy with her kids and her family. It's like explaining and describing one of those videos as the main character is watching it through an ad trying to get to a video she wants to watch, but she's also in pain, and she's like trying to like explain how this woman suddenly doesn't feel pain because she took the pills, but she's scared of like more of the side effects that you hear from it, which is a very interesting picture to paint right in the beginning. Anyway, that's how the book started. Okay, so I haven't gotten very far. I think I'm on chapter 5 maybe. I'm like almost 100 pages in, but this book feels the same way that I was feeling about Bunny when I was reading it. It almost feels like the main character is like I feel like I'm in a fever dream reading it, and our main character has this chronic illness. She's in so much pain and she's almost like not really present. She's kind of like hallucinating a little bit and like not able to really focus on what's going on because she's just in so much pain. But she goes to all these doctors and she tries to do these things. She has these pills to help, but it's almost not working, and all these doctors are telling her different things and like all this stuff. So I don't know if I love this author's writing. I just don't personally think it's for me, but I can appreciate people that love writing like this and kind of going into a story and seeing like the deeper meanings between the writings and stuff, and I felt that was the same way with Bunny. After I read that and I read the reviews, I could like 100% appreciate everyone that like loves that book and really felt something for that story, but I personally didn't, and I'm feeling the same way about this one. I'm still gonna give it a chance, but it's gonna be kind of on the back burner. I'm gonna maybe still listen to it because I did use my credit on it, and I do want to kind of see where this is gonna go. I'm definitely intrigued, but I know it's one of those books I don't think I'm gonna like, and I might end up giving it a low rating, and I told myself I don't want to waste my time on books that I know I'm not gonna enjoy. So with that being said, I'm gonna still listen to this and see what happened throughout this week of me reading the other books, but thankfully we have 2 other books that are wrapped. So I don't know if I knew that I would need to open another one, but I'm gonna put this down for now. I'm still gonna listen to it, but I think I want to start a book that maybe I'll enjoy more. So we're gonna open the folklore one. I'm so excited to see what book is in here. I feel like it's gonna be, if I had to guess, I feel like it's gonna be a romance of some sort. I don't know, either a romance or maybe like a, if I'm thinking of folklore, I'm thinking of like a almost lyrical romance, but if it's just giving like Taylor Swift vibes and just like the theme of like Taylor Swift, I'm probably gonna assume, yeah, I'm gonna stick with romance. I think romance is in here, so let's see. Okay, what is it? Oh, I held it upside down. I actually have seen, is it this book? I've seen great things about. Is this a series? I'm not sure, but I've seen this many places and many times people reading it. I think I've heard good reviews on it. With the blind dates, I don't like to go into Goodreads and see ratings and stuff before I read it. I want to go like completely blind, especially on like the preconceived notions of it, because with blind dates, you'd like literally have no idea what you're getting out of it. So I didn't look up the first book I read or anything. I gave it 3 stars and it had an average rating of 3.88 on Goodreads, which I feel like, I guess, correlates with how I felt about it. I feel like most of the reviews I felt the same with. And then I'm not going to look up All's Well just yet until I know I'm not going to read it, or if I'm going to continue it, I'm not going to look it up, but we'll go through that eventually. I think, if from what I can remember, I've seen good things about this. I wonder if it's a series. I don't really know. Oh, so her mother brought her from Alaska to this city, but then her father, I think, gets sick and she goes back to Alaska and she meets an obnoxious Alaskan pilot who helps keep her father's charter plane company operational. I think I've seen good things about this, so I'm excited. I'm also excited to play some folklore music while listening to this, so I'll give opinions and updates and all of that good stuff once I get into it. Hello guys, I think it's been a couple days since I started this. I think I started this Friday and it's now Sunday. I'm 136 pages in. I feel like the beginning was a little slow to get into. I feel like it's kind of slower paced going into it. I feel like on the romance aspect of it, at least, I feel like we're kind of building up to that. In a way, like she's giving a background of Alaska, where she's from, and her getting the news that she has to come to Alaska and getting her life in Canada, and like all of this kind of build up and backstory I feel like took a while, but I feel like now we're kind of into it. We're meeting, I feel like, more of the side characters that are going to be important to the story. I still have some questions questions that I feel like are going to be answered eventually. I don't think she's going to give outright answers to some of the things that I'm curious about, but also while I was reading this, I feel like it was giving Alexis from Schitt's Creek, which is one of my favorite shows, but I feel like it's giving Alexis being thrown into Alaska or something like that, because she's kind of more high maintenance where she's from, and she's from like the city life, and she's used to getting all these things and having all these things, and now she's in Alaska, very, very small town, nothing like where she's from at all, and she's just kind of in like a shock being there. So it's giving that energy of her going there and then meeting Jonah, who's the love interest, and him being like, you are so entitled and like all of this, because he's from there, he appreciates it, and she's coming in like with all of these opinions, and she's never really done her research of Alaska and like anything about it. She doesn't know anything, she's just like spewing all these opinions, and he's like, you need to stop, and they're not really getting along, I should say that. So we get that, and then I feel like that's not really on the forefront of what's going on, her and Jonah's like relationship or anything. I feel like it's really her and her dad's situation right now. I also feel like some parts are a little too descriptive. I don't know if that's just me, and I just like when it gets to the point a little bit faster, but I feel like some parts are like a little bit too describing and in detail, which isn't a bad thing, but just to me in my small little brain, sometimes I need like, I get bored easily when it gets too descriptive. And it did take me a little to get into this. I didn't really read a lot Friday or Saturday because I couldn't really get into it. Like, I don't know why. So I did get it on my Kindle, and last night I was reading it and I was finishing a chapter, and I think it's just because I'm a slow reader, or I just leave my Kindle open sometimes. The chapter said 59 minutes left in chapter, and I was like, oh no, I can't do a chapter that long. So I didn't read it last night. I finished that one this morning, but it did go faster when I was reading it on the Kindle. I don't think it was actually an hour-long chapter. I think my Kindle was just like left open and it like thought it would take me that long, but still just seeing 59 minutes left in chapter was like, that is way too long. But I'm back to reading it in the book now. Sometimes I go back and forth, and when I can't get into books, I will get it on the Kindle just because I feel like I read faster. I can get more comfortable in bed at night reading on the Kindle. Sometimes I just do that. So I did do that for this book, and so far so good. I really like the writing style of this one. I know that I said that it's a lot of descriptions, but I do like how she describes things, and I just think that this pacing is just a little slow right now, but I feel like it's gonna pick up now. I feel like we've gotten the basis and like the, what's it called? The foundation of where we're gonna go. Now I'm interested to keep going, and I really want to read a bunch today, so we'll see how far I get. I want to get pretty far. I want to finish this maybe tomorrow, so we'll see, but so far so good. That's all I have to say. That's it. I'll see you in a little. This is one of those romances where it doesn't really focus on the romance. I feel like that's kind of, like I said, on the back burner of it, but it's one of those where you get the glimpses of little hints of flirting. It's been such a slow burn this whole time that when you get those little glimpses of a flirt, or them like saying something to each other that's not arguing in a way, it's kind of like a more flirty banter, it like hits hard because you don't really get too much of it. You're getting more of her father, learning about Alaska and all of this stuff. It's feeling almost like a literary fiction going on with sorts of romance thrown in, and like it's not heavy on the romance, which I don't know why I assumed it would be. I feel like it's really more about Calla growing as a person and a woman and seeing things that aren't just her city and what she's used to, you know. But yeah, those little small hints of the romance hit harder because you don't get them throughout the whole thing. Like, it's not right off the bat a romance, you know what I mean? So they're definitely hitting when they do come into play. I'm enjoying that. I'm also still enjoying like the writing style and everything. It gets a little boring sometimes, but I feel like you get more depth with the characters because, again, it's not focusing so much on the romance. So like all the other side characters, especially like her dad and all the characters that are in Alaska that we meet, I feel like you're getting more to them. But I feel like there's still some questions. I want to know more of this backstory. Page 223 right now. I think there's 388, so I have... couldn't tell you, maybe 380, 160-ish pages left. That math could be so wrong, but I also feel myself getting in a little bit of slump, so I don't know if we're gonna read The Last Blind Date with a book, but we're definitely gonna open it. But I feel like a slump is coming, and I feel like I need to pick my own next read, so we'll see what happens, how long it takes me to finish this. But I'm feeling a slump, and that's not good, so we're definitely gonna open the next one together, but we'll see if we read it or not. I'm really trying to withstand the slumps this year and do everything I can not to get in one. Also, for someone who hates planes, there's a lot of plane talk in here because her father's a pilot, owns this whole like plane thing situation in Alaska. The guy, Jonah, also works at the plane thing in Alaska, and I'm learning a lot more about planes than I think I ever needed. Not in a bad way, just because I don't like planes. Like, one of the first scenes, her flying to this part of Alaska, she's in this small cramped plane, and there's only two seats, Jonah and her. It's bumpy, she's not feeling well, it's claustrophobic, and I literally felt it like as if I was on that plane. So I I'm not saying I don't love the plane talk, like I understand it's part of the whole story, but for someone that hates planes, I don't like some of the scenes with the planes. That's all I had to say. Because there's a plane scene going on right now and I'm learning a lot about it, and I'm just like, ignorance is bliss for me with planes. Like I don't want to know anything about the planes because I will freak myself out. Even though I'm not going on a 2-seater plane, probably ever, but still. Planes in general, just a topic of planes. How many times have I said that word? Anyway, just a topic of it I don't love. Right now, and I had to put it down because like me a year ago would not believe me right now cares what the end result of this Super Bowl is gonna be. Like me a year ago would have turned it off, gone to bed, but it's tied right now and they're gonna go into overtime. Like, hey, who would have thought I'd care about that? So I needed moral support with me because I'm here by myself watching this. Do you know what I mean? Just a book girly sitting here talking football. Nothing like it. Shout out to Taylor Swift, truly, for getting me to care about this. I'm gonna try to read a little bit. I don't know how long this little break is, but... Can I relax? It's not that deep. It's not that deep at all. It is kind of deep. It's a Super Bowl, but like... I didn't expect this book to make me cry. Okay, I finished this book actually maybe like a few days ago. I don't know how many days it's been, but I somehow deleted the clip of me talking about my thoughts on this book and opening our last book together. I have no idea what happened. I don't know where that clip is. I don't know literally anything that happened. And I wish I had that clip because my thoughts were so fresh from finishing this book. But after a few days, I guess now, I think I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads, but a 3.75 is where I'm kind of landing with the like more precise rating of it. But I did really enjoy it for what it was. I think it's really interesting because if I did not research, but I looked it up before reading it, or I chose this myself rather than a blind date and not knowing anything about it going into it. I've seen some glimpses of it and I just assumed it was a romance. I feel like if I did that looking into it before and I kind of maybe found out or just like maybe had a preconceived little notion that it wasn't strictly a romance, I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more because I feel like it went a little slow because I thought that it was a romance going into it, and that's just me having my own opinions and thoughts on it before knowing anything about it, just reading the back of it. That's what I assumed. So the story is definitely a lot more than that. It really reads kind of like a literary fiction, more following our main character Calla and her just kind of like growing as a person. All she knows is her city and growing up there, and she comes from like privilege and more of a wealthy side. That's all she really knows. So going to Alaska and seeing how they live and how they have a sense of community and they don't have everything that she has, and she kind of takes everything, I guess, for granted in a way back home. So you kind of follow her meeting these side characters that become really important to the story and their lives and their story and their backstory and like history and everything with each other, and her kind of breaking out of her shell and being kind of humbled in a way, learning everything about there and meeting all these characters. And I really enjoyed that storyline. Again, I think if I knew that it was slower paced literary fiction type and not just like romance, I don't know why I thought it was like that, but I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more because I would have appreciated it more. I think I was kind of just like not really getting into it because I was like waiting for the romance. But like I said, and I think in other clips, so when the romance did come, I think it picked up mostly like 70% of the way through the book, but I really appreciated it when it got to that point. I was really into it because all of the little glimpses that you got and the little, you know, banter and like small little hints of romantic things, not romantic, but like, you know, like the romance part of this book, the subplot of that, it hit really hard because I was kind of waiting for that. So when it did come, I really did enjoy it. But I did appreciate the story and I really enjoyed this one. Is definitely different than what I thought, which I think is really fun just doing blind dates because you don't don't know what you're gonna get, you don't know what you expect. I didn't look anything up, so it was really interesting to know my true feelings about this book without having any kind of like persuasion in either way, which I feel like happens sometimes if I'm reading reviews before reading a book and someone doesn't like it or likes it. I kind of am thinking about that in the back of my mind while reading the book, but since I didn't have any of that, all my true feelings, so I'm gonna stick at a 3.75/4 if we're not gonna be too precise. But I also looked it up after on Goodreads and it has a 4.3 rating and has over 100,000 ratings, so this is a pretty highly rated and enjoyed and liked book. So I personally would recommend it if you're looking for a story like that, and a story I feel like you can connect to and it gets a little bit more of like a deeper meaning and level to it. I also looked up the series and I thought I was gonna follow other characters within the story, but the second one follows the same two characters and I feel like that's probably gonna pick up on the romance of the whole story, probably what I was like thinking it was gonna be. And then there's a little novella between that one and the third one, and the third one follows a different character, a side character in this story. So I don't know if I'm gonna continue the series. I'm definitely gonna keep it written down in the back of my mind, like maybe one day if I want to continue, I definitely will. And then in that clip, I got to open our last blind date with the book, and I didn't read it in this video because I feel like I was going into a little bit of a slump and I felt like I needed to pick out my next read. I didn't want to read a book that I didn't know anything about. I wanted to pick one out that I maybe knew I was gonna like or something like that. I definitely felt a slump coming, so I opened this one. It said it was a fantasy. I think it had like a competitive something in there, and then it also related to Matilda by Harry Styles because this was my Harry Styles book. So I opened that up and I got A River of Royal Blood by Amanda Joy. I've never seen this before. I read the summary of it and it sounded really interesting. She is a 16-year-old princess, so this is a YA fantasy, and it says she's born with the magic of blood and marrow, which is a dark and terrible magic that hasn't been seen for generations. Its last known practitioner was Queen Rhaena, who used her power to massacre thousands, including her own sister, thus beginning the rival heir tradition. Now it says that she, our main character, has to face her older sister on her 17th birthday in a battle to the death if she hopes to ascend the Ivory Throne. And then it says on the bottom of the summary, but when an assassin makes an attempt on her life and the fight with her sister looms ever closer, she finally turns to a powerful Fae instructor and a mysterious and handsome prince for help in growing her magic into something to fear. So the story sounds really interesting. I feel like there's a lot going on here, but I added this to my TBR cart. I definitely want to keep this on my radar for the upcoming months, maybe if I want to read some fantasy books. This one sounds so good and I feel like I'm gonna really enjoy it. I think this one's really fun because opening a blind date and not knowing the book inside, maybe a surprise if you like it or not. So I definitely want to read this sometime soon. That is the end of today's video. Let me know if you read any of these books, any of your opinions on them. I'm gonna link down below the Etsy shop that I got these books from so you guys can check them out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I will see you hopefully in the next one. Bye!